Hey YouTube, Tech for Hire here. I wanted to do a video basically telling California gun owners that you guys are complete idiots. You know, I'm a Second Amendment guy. I believe firmly in our Second Amendment. We can't have our First Amendment, Third, Fourth, Fifth down the line without the Second Amendment. Because if they get rid of the Second Amendment, any other one can just be wished away. They can just decide one day, you know what, we don't like hate speech, so we're just going to say anything in this category, these categories here, you can't say those anymore. So now guess what? They're limiting your First Amendment right. They're basically doing that to guns. What they're basically saying is, well, you don't need this one, so we're going to take this one away. You know, you don't need this one because, you know, it's scary and a lot of people feel like it's dangerous, so we're just going to take that one away. Even though the facts are completely aside and say, you know what, rifles really don't hurt that many people, comparatively speaking to all the other crime that's out there. Was it 300, 400, 500 deaths per year? Now that may seem like a lot, but honestly, it's really not when you compare it to all the gun shootings, all the stabbings, all those other things that happen out there. But the title of my video, which is, I haven't decided yet. I keep changing it in my head. So by the time you're actually watching this, I'm going to have the title there, but I've had to change up my mind many, many times because I want to curse really, really, really bad at Second Amendment supporters. I want to curse at the gun owners of California. You guys are absolutely the stupidest sons of bitches alive. Now you're probably going, wow, that's pretty hefty saying that. You know, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate. But you know what? Listen, here's where I'm going. You may think I'm an anti-gun guy. Well, if you've seen any of my other videos, you would know that's actually completely not true. Up until a few years ago, I was not an NRA supporter. This year, I'm an NRA supporter. I'm a card-carrying member of the NRA. Now, I did that basically because of the outright assault California legislators have gone this year on Second Amendment rights. Now, I have a list of the laws that they're going to enact on January 1st. You have SB 880, AB 1135, which bans common and constitutionally protected firearms that have magazine locking devices. For those of you who have guns, you understand that that's what's called a bullet button. For those of you who don't understand what that is and why that even matters, most guns out there today have a removable magazine, whether it be handgun or rifle. And this basically says you can't have that anymore because it's too scary. Next one is SB 1235, which is the Safety for All ammo ban. And what this does is create a stupid background check process for ammo. And just saying it makes me feel stupid. You're going to have to pay a fee. You're going to have to do a background check when you go and get ammo. Now, is it every single time? Is it going to be, you know, every year, every 5 years? Who knows? You have SB 1446, confiscation of lawfully acquired standard capacity ammo, ammunition feeding devices, basically magazines. For those of you who play video games, clips. Now, what these are is if, you know, the government is not allowed to come to your property and just seize your shit, okay? They can't just walk onto your house and say, you know what, we're going to take this. You don't need it anymore. We don't want you to have it. We're going to take it. That's one of our constitutionally protected rights, you know, illegal search and seizure. This is the seizure part. Pardon me, allergies. Now, what this allows them to do is to basically say, okay, if you have a large capacity magazine, say you had it years and years and years ago before there was a ban in place, you can't have it anymore. You have to turn it in. Now, are they giving us money for those? No, you just have to turn it in or you're a felon. Horseshit. AB 1511 bans the loaning of firearms. So if I bought a new rifle and my brother says, hey, I'd like to go shooting with your brand new rifle because I think it's awesome, can I borrow it? And I say, yeah, sure. You pay for the ammo? Sure, so you can use it. Make sure you clean it. Yeah, that's illegal now. AB 1695 makes some non-violent misdemeanors punishable by prohibition of owning firearms. Now, this is a little tricky one, and you have to understand the recent laws that Jerry Brown and his little cohorts have been putting together. So if you remember, there was an AB 47, I think it was AB 47, Prop 47, I'm sorry, Prop 47 that went through. And what that did was basically change some of the more violent crimes into misdemeanors. And you had some stuff that was a misdemeanor that was turned into an infraction. So now there's another one, Prop 57, that goes even further. So now what you see they're trying to do is they're trying to keep those weapons out of the hands of bad people. But what they're doing is they're letting those bad people out, saying they're not bad people. What they did is not really a big deal, but we don't want them to have firearms. So since we're reducing what that sentence is, we need to change it so that they can no longer have a firearm. The only problem with this is that law-abiding citizens, people that don't normally do crimes, or something that's so minor, trivial, I know driving drunk is not something that anybody should be doing, but say you accidentally drive drunk one time, or you took a pill and you didn't realize you weren't supposed to drive. Well, you could get a DWI. Now they take your right to own a firearm away. Doesn't make any sense. Absolutely doesn't make any sense. Now, the reason why I'm pissed off, which is the whole purpose of this video, is we had an opportunity as Californians to stick it to Jerry Brown. We had an opportunity to stick it to De Leon and all these leftist idiots that are in our legislature that are dictating to us what our Second Amendment rights should be. So we had an opportunity to do that. I can't remember the name of the fellow in San Diego, but he put basically a petition together, filled out all the paperwork, spent the money to put on the ballot, on this November ballot, 6 propositions, if you will, that would allow us to veto these stupid ass things that they just put in, that are going to be effective January 1st. And 125,000 people showed up. 125,000 people filled out the paperwork. Now, it was a short amount of time that we had to put this paperwork in, but there are roughly 10 million gun owners in California. And we got, what is that, 1%? 1%? It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, my math could be off. It could be 1%. It could be 10%. I don't know. 10 million went, yeah, should be 1%. We got 1% of the people in California to get off their lazy asses and go to their local gun store, which they've gone to before, obviously, to buy a frickin' gun, buy ammo, buy your gear that you need, and fill out some paperwork so that way we can veto these laws. California gun owners, as I said, are some of the stupidest people in the country. I'll tell you why. You often hear people saying, well, I'm not gonna turn over my weapon. They're gonna have to take it out of my cold, dead hands. Okay. Or you could go and, I don't know, vote and get these people out of office. And when you have an opportunity to give them the proverbial middle finger on their laws that they put in place and tell them, you know what, we're not going to stand for this shit. We're going to put it up to the people, which I know brings up a whole separate issue, which is we shouldn't be voting on this shit in the first place because, well, it's a Second Amendment constitutional right, they can't take it away. Well, if you're paying attention in California, it appears they don't care about the Constitution. They don't give a shit about our constitutional rights. So if this is the game that they're playing, you have to play by their rules. It's just the way it is. We have two options. Two options. We can have civil war and march up to the Sacramento and say, guns blazing, and say, we're not going to take this shit anymore. Or two, you do it the peaceful way and you vote. And you have people like the guy that did this in San Diego and put up this opportunity to vote en masse and tell these people, this is bullshit. We're not going to put up with this. We're not going to take it lying down. We're gun owners. We have a constitutional right to have our firearms, and we're going to stick it to you. Did we do that? No, not at all. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. And when January 1st rolls around and I have all these idiots that are on Facebook, they're on YouTube, they're everywhere, on Twitter, complaining about how horrible California is and how horrible our gun rights are, it's your freaking fault. You have no right to say anything, any complaints whatsoever if you didn't get off of your fat ass and go out there and put your name to paper. I did. I went out. I signed 7 forms. I can't remember what the 7th one was for, but I filled out every single one of those petitions. My wife, who just became a citizen, went over there and did that as well. What's your guys' excuse? What? You too busy that day? I work. I have a job. I left my work, went right to the gun store and filled out those forms the day the petition came out. So I don't understand. I absolutely don't understand. And that's why, for me, logically, the only thing that I can think of is that you guys are complete morons. Absolute morons. Well, that's all I'm going to say about that. Hopefully you have companies like the NRA or groups like California California gun owners. Maybe they'll get together, get enough money, file some lawsuits, and these will be thrown down. Hopefully Hillary Clinton is not elected in November, and we won't have that gun Nazi that's going to run around and take your guns away. And I got interrupted, but coming back. So, in conclusion, gun owners in California are idiots. They're extremely stupid. And I think that basically says it. Yeah. Send me the hate mail. Send me the hate messages. Do all that. But if you didn't vote, if you didn't go put your name to paper, you have no right. You can't say anything to me that's going to validate your stance. You had a couple weeks to basically go fill out your name, put it on 7 pieces of paper, and make a change, make a difference. Tell them, hey, screw you, we're not going to give up our guns. But instead, you chose to do whatever it is that you do, and now you're screwed. Now we're all screwed. Everybody in California is screwed. Even if you don't own a gun, even if you don't feel comfortable being around a gun, there's a lot to be said about people who are well trained with a firearm that can protect your life in case something goes bad. If you get another Orlando shooter that goes around and you have several people around you that are trained with firearms, you don't need a firearm. But if they have one, they can protect your life. They can protect the life of your loved one. But in California, they don't understand that. They just want to take your guns away and make you guys slaves to the system, essentially. I honestly believe California's ultimate goal, all of these politicians, is to make you completely dependent on government, on the system, so that they can buy your vote. Now, obviously, I'm talking about leftist politicians. I'm not talking about Republicans. Now, Republicans have their own problems, but they certainly don't want to take your rights away, at least your rights to own firearms. Now, there may be other issues, but that's a whole different video. Leave your comments below. Any Second Amendment guys that come on this video and start talking shit, rewatch the video. If you didn't sign your name, go F yourself. Honestly, you're an idiot. You can say nothing to me that validates your point. I have a few people that I work with that are like, hey, well, I'm just going to move to a different state. Well, you're here now. What happens when governor comes rolling around and says, okay, nobody can own semi-automatic weapons anymore? They just dictate that law. Well, guess what? They're just going to take your weapon before you can ever move out of the state. So it's a sad day, man. I just found out about this earlier today. I've been extremely pissed off all day about it. Just because it's, it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. It's completely against the Constitution, and people just don't seem to care. All people like to do nowadays is just bitch. Absolutely bitch and moan about things that are going wrong in their life, things that are wrong, with the system, things that are wrong with politicians, but nobody does anything about it. I mean, the likelihood is Hillary Clinton's going to win. She's going against Trump. Now, I was a staunch Ted Cruz supporter. I still am. If Ted Cruz was running, we'd be in a different place right now. If you watched that first debate, Ted Cruz would have tore a new one into Hillary. But unfortunately, we have Trump. So that's what you guys voted for. And maybe that explains why nobody showed up to vote against these gun bills, because we're just a bunch of idiot deplorables. I'm starting to see that idiot staunch, out there. I know staunch isn't the correct word, but it's tired. I'm tired. Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna go. All you 2A guys can suck it, and peace out.